Your feelings are not valid. They're never the way that you think they are. Reality is not based on the way that you feel. It's the way that you logically understand what is going on around you and the situational awareness that you have. I'm going to give you a lot of examples in this video, and it's important that people understand this because sometimes you're going to go in a direction based on your feelings rather than based on logic. This occurs in dating and relationships. There's probably more examples in there like to pull from than some of the other things, but it also applies to business. It applies to your personal relationships with people, your friendships with your family. It applies to, sales, marketing. It's based on science and methodology in some ways, because at the end of the day, you're not always in control of the thoughts and feelings. So let me give you an example of what I mean by this. If you're creating content and you're creating YouTube videos and you're posting every single day over the next 30 days and you get no results, like you have nothing to pull from, your immediate thought from your feelings might be that YouTube doesn't work, it's a scam. Your immediate thought might also be that perhaps the video content you're creating just isn't good, it doesn't resonate. There might be some other things that you think about in this situation. And these things are based on your own feelings. You might believe that maybe you're not right for the camera. Maybe it's just not for you. Maybe creating video content does not gel with who you are and the type of people that you want to attract. And all these things go through your head based 100% on your feelings rather than on the logic of what's happening in front of you. Because if you look at something like YouTube, there are so many people out there that have built an audience from it. They've built a huge following. They've become famous just from creating YouTube content. Companies also, not just personal brands, guys. I looked at NVIDIA the other day. They're the guys that make like the graphics cards, I think. They make everything, but they're known for like the cards and the computers. They've got 1 million followers. They've got 1 million subscribers. This is a massive company. Like it's an enterprise. I don't even know who runs NVIDIA. It's probably a group of decision makers. I'm sure they have the CEO. You can invest in it. It's a public company, but it applies to everyone, company, personal brand. So just because you've made 30 videos in 30 days and you haven't seen any results doesn't necessarily mean that you are not right for the camera or that it's not right for your industry or your target audience. You can't come up with that result or from that assumption just from that small amount of information that you have. 30 days is nothing compared to some of these bigger companies or for some of these people that have built like massive audiences. They've been consistent for years. All you have to do is go on their profile or on their channel and look at the about section or the channel details, and it will tell you like when they started their company or when they started their channel, right? NVIDIA, I think, is like 2006. That's a long time. They've been posting content since 2006. This is a massive company. Almost everyone knows NVIDIA, especially the tech world. This applies to literally everything, guys. Your feelings are not valid most of the time. You have to look at the data. You have to look at what works out there in the world, and then you have to just logically understand that maybe you need to change something, or maybe you just have to put in more reps. You just need more time. So in this situation with the content, like the 30 days thing, maybe your videos suck in more ways than one. Maybe it's just the thumbnail, or maybe people aren't clicking it. So you have to look at the data there. Maybe the watch time is not good, because typically when it comes to YouTube, you need to have a long watch time. Like people have to be liking your videos for YouTube to suggest them in the algorithm. You could have a great thumbnail, massive click-through rate, but if people click off after 10 seconds, you're just not going to get suggested. Your target audience as well is another one. Like, are you actually looking at stats on who your videos are pulling in? Who are you actually attracting? It's all based on data, guys. You can't just make an assumption based on one little thing from your own head. Look at the facts. A lot of people are unable to pull themselves out of their body to look at like the horizontal view. Right? Same applies in relationships. Oftentimes, what we think is not always correct, and you see this a lot in relationships. Typically, either the man or the woman in a heterosexual relationship, or it can be in any kind of relationship, they will assume or have some kind of assumption that their partner is cheating on them, or that their partner is unfaithful or untrustworthy. And let me tell you that this is just a feeling. Often it's a feeling maybe because of some kind of evidence that you have. So every case is different, of course, but you have to extrapolate yourself. Like you have to take yourself out of your body sometimes and look at the whole picture, right? And see if what you're feeling is right or wrong, if it's actually justified or logical on a real, down to earth level. Okay. I see this a lot in guys. I can only really, I mean, I see it a lot with girls as well, but I'll comment on guys because I've had a lot of guy friends, they've had girlfriends and, maybe, their girlfriend goes out for a little bit longer than they should. And the guy starts getting a little bit jealous and insecure, worried. Oh, maybe she's cheating. She's seeing someone else. Well, look, maybe that's the case. That could very well be the case, but sometimes you have to decide if that's like your own emotion and your own feelings. Like, do you have a handle of your own feelings? Is it maybe something that you're insecure about that is driving you to think that? Or is it actual real evidence that you can present in an argument to support what you're saying? Relationships, business, it can be really with anything. But unfortunately, the people in this world, they go off their feelings more so than logic. That's why we're in such a shit place when it comes to politics and the world. That's why we're headed to things like World War III. Because people just jump to conclusions, short-term thinking, and don't think logically when it comes to long-term, when it comes to any, your content sucks because you've only just started. That's why no one's following you on YouTube, right? That's why you're not getting any sales. That's why no one's coming to you because you only just started. You're just showing up. You have to do it for a few months. You have to get better over time. And believe me, the more videos you make, the better you'll be. Your partner's not cheating. They're just out for a bit longer because they're getting a coffee. They want to chill for an extra 15, 20 minutes without you because they spend all their time with you. And that's perfectly fine. There's no supporting evidence to back up your claims and what you think. You're not closing sales calls because you're attracting bad prospects. They're all qualified. The reason why you're not able to close is because you are not a good salesperson. You have to level up your skills. Stop basing everything on your own feelings and actually look at the logical data in front of you. Take yourself out of the situation and look long-term from a broad perspective and truly realize whether it's something that you're just telling yourself in your head because you don't have a handle on the things. And most people don't. This is something that I deal with myself all the time, just like everyone else. I'm not saying I'm anything special. This is human-like behavior, but we have to be able to get a handle on it and we have to be logical. We have to all be able to take ourselves out of the position and look out at it from like a different viewpoint. Maybe you're just not closing those people because you're a bad salesperson. You've got to do another 50 sales calls before you close someone just to improve yourself. Maybe you didn't get that sale when you presented on stage. No one put their hand up to buy that thing because you just sucked to present it. You just weren't interesting enough. Maybe the video that you created bombed, even though it's packed with amazing piece of information. Maybe it bombed because the thumbnail sucks or the headline sucks or maybe the audio is rubbish or you had a weird fountain behind you that no one liked listening to throughout the video. Stop doing it based on your feelings and look at it with logic. You're going to go much further that way. You're going to have much more successful relationships, much more peaceful and happier lifestyle. And you won't be so anxious and stressed all the time like the rest of the world is because everyone bases everything on their bloody emotions. It's crazy. It's like we're all a bunch of kids. You can't just have a handle on yourself. Sometimes you need to separate yourself entirely from emotions and just think logically. I think that's unfortunately where humans have messed up a little bit over the last few years of technology. Because you can go on social media and it spikes your attention, it spikes your emotions. And I think we get addicted to that as humans. And I think it's actually forcing us to like evolve in a negative way. If you can say that you evolve in a negative way, maybe we're evolving in the correct way. I don't know. But to me, it doesn't look good. Right? Like I said, I struggle with this all the time. This is something that I battle with. It's a challenge, just like anyone else. Sometimes I'll say something and it will get to me. Sometimes someone will say something, it will get to me. Sometimes someone else's action will affect me in emotional ways. I get angry quick if someone is rude to me when I go out. But sometimes I've got to take a step back and think like, are they intentionally trying to make me angry, or is it just like my emotions that I don't have a handle on? Is that something that I have to reflect on and look at myself in a more introspective way to see if I can handle it, improve myself, grow it? Maybe it's some big internal issues that I've got to deal with. And maybe you also do as well. So if you've got any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.